My name's Isabella Nguyen. Most people call me Izzy. And if you ever drive down East 11th in Austin, you'll see my parents' little neon-lit noodle shop, Pho Bei Mao. The sign over the doorway used to glow 7 confident stripes, basil green broth, amber, chili red, the whole rainbow. But tonight, only 2 colors are still alive, sputtering like they're not sure they want to stick around. I'm balanced on a dented aluminum ladder after a 10-hour shift at the fintech startup where I design user flows that are supposed to make money feel friendly swapping dead bulbs because Dad's rotator cuff won't let him reach this high. It's 9:47 p.m. The street smells like smoked brisket from the joint next door, and my phone starts buzzing in my back pocket. The caller ID hits me like I leaned straight into a live wire mom first time in 3 years. I freeze so hard the Phillips screwdriver slips from my fingers, clatters on the sidewalk, and for a beat, all I can hear is the falter in the transformer behind me and the distant mumble of 6th Street guitars. 3 years of silence. 3 years since they skipped my wedding and watched my big sister Maddie burn my guest list to cinders. 3 years of me teaching myself how to grow new skin over that raw place under my ribs. And now my mother decides this is the moment to break radio silence. Part of me wants to yank the ladder out from under myself just to have an excuse not to answer. But part of me can't look away from a train wreck in motion, and I know my mother, if she's calling, she's already spun the narrative for half the family WhatsApp group. Better to hear the script up front. I tap accept, press the phone between shoulder and ear, and keep twisting a new violet bulb into its socket. Hi, Mom. Isbay, she says, Vietnamese diminutive she only uses when she wants something. We saw the picture. I don't have to ask which picture. 8 hours ago, Daniel and I posted a black and white sonogram on Instagram, little bean kicking inside a hazy universe captioned, Leveling Up to Mom and Dad. ETA February. 200 likes so far, most of them from Daniel's cousins and my startup coworkers, because practically the entire Nguyen clan unfollowed me after Maddie's smear campaign. Apparently, that didn't stop them from lurking. Mom's voice is bright, brittle, over-enunciated like she's talking to a reporter. Such wonderful news. Your father and I are so proud. A laugh almost slips out because pride is a strange choice of word from people who publicly called me selfish for, quote, rubbing my happiness in Maddie's face. When I picked a wedding date that clashed with my sister's divorce hearing, but I swallow it. Thanks, we're excited. There's something else. A rustle of paper, a pause too long. Your sister. She's been through so much, honey. This baby, it might help heal her. Maddie thinks, well, we all think it would be beautiful if she could have a special role, like a second mother. The violet bulb flares to life, purple glow washing the stucco wall, and in that light, my hand looks bruised. Second mother. My brain pulls up a memory like yanking a hard drive from a dusty box rehearsal. Dinner night, me in a satin slip dress, Dad avoiding my eyes while Mom repeats that postponing would be the compassionate thing. Maddie crying mascara, morphine tears at the head of the long table. They'd asked me to trade my wedding for her pity party. Tonight, they're asking me to trade my child. Mom, I say as calmly as I can while the old hurt floods back. I haven't talked to Maddie since she told the family I baby-trapped her husband. She is not touching my kid. A traffic light flips green, bathing the shop front in stoplight jade, and Mom presses on like she didn't hear. She tried so hard, Izzy. 5 rounds of IVF. We helped with the costs, you know. It drained almost everything. My grip tightens on the ladder rung. Everything. That word echoes against a vaulted ceiling of memories the day Daniel and I realized my wedding fund had gone missing from the joint account Dad set up. The florist who kept my deposit when I couldn't cover the remaining balance. The honeymoon we downgraded to a weekend in Galveston. They never told me where that money went. I make myself breathe. Are you saying my wedding savings paid for her IVF? Silence, then a breath through teeth. We were keeping the family afloat, Kongai. You'll understand when you're a mother. Heat crawls up my neck. I blink at the half-lit sign, 7 stripes reduced to 2, and realize that's exactly what they'd done, shaved a rainbow down to whatever served Maddie. Under me, the ladder wobbles. I already understand enough, Mom. Don't call again. I hang up, climb down too fast, nearly twist an ankle. My temples throb. Daniel's SUV pulls to the curb, headlights shimmering off the glass. He hops out, tall and warm, and smelling like cedar and cinnamon protein powder, wraps an arm around my shoulders. Everything okay? I'm about to say yes, default autopilot, but the lie lodges sideways. They're back, I whisper. And I think they stole my wedding fund. He lets out a slow exhale, presses a kiss to my hair. Time to turn on the floodlights and look at every shadow. I nod because Daniel's right, you can't outrun a storm you haven't named. Inside the restaurant, Dad's chopping brisket, Mom counting cash. The dining room's empty, except for a lone UT student slurping broth. Dad lifts his eyes as we enter. Tension snaps between us like old gum. I cross to the framed family photo on the wall, pre-wedding, pre-Civil War little Izzy, with gap-tooth grin, Maddie already rehearsing her influencer angle, Mom and Dad proud of both daughters. Once upon a time, before the scales tilted. That picture hangs above the register like a relic from a country that no longer exists. Convaitre, Mom says, voice cool because her ask went unanswered. You came home late. She refuses English now, staking claim to cultural high ground. I stayed, I answer in Vietnamese because the sign was dying, like the rest of this place. Dad winces, but I keep going. I need to see the books. My name is on the original business loan. Daniel squeezes my hand. And on the wedding account. Explain where the money went. Dad's cleaver stills mid-slice. Izzy not here. So talk outside. I point toward the alley where the dumpsters bake under LED security lights. He sets the knife down, wipes his palms. Mom flattens both hands on the cash tray, eyes darting. We step into night air thick with cilantro steam. Cicadas buzz overhead like a faulty amp. Dad starts first. Your sister wanted a baby, we thought. You thought I wouldn't notice $42,000 missing. His shoulders slump. 62 years of work ethic sagging. You were getting married into a good family. Daniel could support you. And Maddie couldn't support herself with 500,000 followers and a collagen sponsorship. Anger flares bright, but behind it is hurt so old it's practically heritage. You used me to bankroll her dream, then skipped my wedding so she wouldn't feel small. Mom folds her arms. Family sacrifices. One day you will need your sister. Need her or owe her. My voice cracks. I feel the baby flutter a tiny bubble pop like it's reminding me to breathe. Listen carefully, my child will not be leverage for guilt. Dad's eyes glisten. If you expose this, we lose the restaurant. Investors already worried. Mrs. Delgado promised another round of capital next quarter. She hears we misallocated funds. I misallocated nothing, I snap. You forged my signature on the withdrawal. That makes it fraud. Mom's lips part. Dad shoots her a warning glare too late. My pulse drums. You forged me. Silence lingers long enough for a garbage truck to groan by. Finally, Mom whispers, we were desperate. Maddie was hurting. I taste metal. I look at Daniel. He's already dialing someone, probably our lawyer friend, Jasmine. Dad reaches for my elbow, but I step back. You broke the law. Then you broke my wedding. Now you want to break my motherhood. I shake my head. No more. Mom opens her mouth. The dining room door flings wide, and Maddie herself strides out like she rehearsed the entrance, platinum blonde lob Lululemon set ring light glow even under sodium street lamps. You're being dramatic. Mom and Dad needed a way to keep the business running. Your perfect little marriage was icing on the cake. The audacity steals my breath. You lied about me baby trapping Ethan, and I'm dramatic. Her smile is sweet sour underneath. Ethan's version was always flexible, but none of that matters now. We can fix this. Let me be there for your baby, and we'll call it even. Even. Word tastes rotten. I whisper, you don't bargain with living beings. A wind gust rattles the flickering neon. 2 more colors fizzle out, so only red and white remain blood and bone. Maddie shrugs, checks her Apple Watch. Think about it. Investors love redemption arcs. Picture the press influencer aunt helps raise miracle kid after family schism. In that moment, I finally understand she wants the baby for brand equity. Daniel steps between us. Back off, Maddie. She smirks. Relax, Daniel. I'm pitching opportunity, not custody. Something inside me clicks into place, a lever locking. I look at my parents, at my sister, at the restaurant that once tasted like home. I'm done thinking about it, I say. You'll hear from my lawyer. I walk to the car. No one follows. The ladder lies forgotten on the sidewalk. The topmost violet bar pulses alone against a half-dead rainbow. Driving away, Daniel squeezes my thigh. We'll pull every bank record, every lease doc. If they forged your name, we show proof. Streetlights strobe across the windshield like camera flashes. I whisper, they're going to lose everything. Daniel's voice is steady. Actions have consequences, but we'll decide how to use that leverage. I stare at the skyline cranes tower over glass condos, progress chewing history, and wonder what justice should look like when justice feels like cutting your own roots. Ahead, the stoplight turns red. Daniel slows. My phone pings an email from an unknown address. Subject line, Izzy. You deserve the truth about your sister. I open it. Attachment PDF bank statement highlighted withdrawal forged signature plus one line of text I can testify, Ethan Walker. My pulse hammers. First proof falling from the sky like ash after a wildfire. I close the phone, rest a hand over my belly. The baby kicks again, gentle but insistent, as if asking what story we plan to write next. I don't have an answer yet, but the cliff's edge we've been skirting just cracked wider, and gravity's calling all of us by name. By the next morning, I'm a woman riding twin rails, one labeled vindication, the other collision. Because every mile forward feels like a whistle screaming that somebody's going to get flattened. Ethan's midnight email sits on my screen while I sip charred diner coffee that tastes like burnt movie tickets. The PDF shows a wire transfer from my joint wedding fund to a clinic in Lakeway, my forged signature crooked, where I supposedly authorized the withdrawal, and a note in the margin scrawled in pink highlighter for Maddie's miracle. The proof is poison and medicine at once, and I know if I drink it, I'll cure one sickness inside me but trigger a dozen new fevers for everyone else. Still, I hit print because some truths deserve paperweight gravity. The printer wheezes. In the hush of dawn traffic, I hear the baby's monitor-like heartbeat inside my own pulse. Daniel leans on the counter boxer briefs and bed hair, and the kind of steady presence that reminds me storms can be navigated. You sure you want to meet Ethan alone? He asks. You're 6 months pregnant. Stress is a silent blade. I shrug into a denim jacket, the one with chilly red embroidery Mom used to brag about to customers back when she still bragged about me, and I clip the jade bangle she gave me on my wedding morning around my wrist. Symbolic handcuffs, maybe, but also armor. I need to hear him say it to my face, I tell Daniel. No more telephone game, no more influencer edits. Straight-edge truth. He nods, kisses. My temple slips a protein bar into my pocket like he's sending a soldier with rations. Ethan chooses a neutral battleground, a downtown food truck court where the scent of kimchi fries floats over recycled picnic tables. He's early, all well-pressed charcoal suit and legal aid smile, nothing like the wilted groom I'd seen in Maddie's Insta apology video years ago. We order cold brew from a trailer painted like a cartoon squid. Ethan wastes no time. Your sister told me you tried to ruin her marriage. I believed her because marriage is messy and you two were never close. But after she ghosted mediation 3 times and lied about her birth control sabotage. Yeah, I compared pharmacy receipts to trash can evidence. I realized she weaponizes family the way lobbyists weaponize grief. He slides a manila envelope across splintered wood. Inside copies of Maddie's clinic intake forms, her handwriting bragging in the margins about manifesting motherhood. Plus a private investigator's snapshot of my father walking out of Wells Fargo the day the wedding fund was drained. Ethan's voice drops. She told your parents IVF was her only shot. They leveraged the restaurant, forged your approval, pulled cash before the lien filed. The math hits harder than coffee. If the lien attaches and investors bail, Mom and Dad won't just lose Neon. They'll lose the kitchen where Dad taught me how to skim fat from broth at age 8 like skimming gossip off the neighborhood airwaves. Ethan's eyes soften. I'll testify. I owe you that much after believing her stories. I inhale exhaust and cilantro. This isn't just about me, I say. That restaurant pays for my parents' health insurance, 3 employees rent my cousin Tina's tuition. Ethan nods like a man who's memorized collateral damage. Justice and mercy rarely share an Uber. You'll have to choose which one you tip. Back at the startup, I sit through stand-up meeting pretending to care about smoother onboarding flows, while the printer paper in my backpack feels radioactive. At lunch, I duck out and call Detective Marcus Hill, an ex-Austin PD officer who now charges $200 an hour to untangle family finance. He answers on the second ring voice, all Texas gravel. I give him bullet points. He whistles low. Forgery plus wire fraud plus identity theft. Your folks are paddling into felony rapids. You ready to ride that wave? I'm pregnant, Marcus, I answer. I'm already surfing hormone tsunamis. Find me proof the bank saw a fake signature. He asks for retainer details. I Venmo him half my savings because fear is expensive. 2 hours later, he texts, got security cam stills. Mom presented driver's license copy with edges trimmed to hide DOB mismatch. Bank clerk going on record. The baby shifts hard like applause or warning. I rub the kicked spot and whisper, hang tight, little bean. Evening tumbles in with Gulf humidity and unresolved moral math. Daniel and I park outside Fobe Mao again, this time not to change bulbs, but to change futures. Only one neon stripe red still glows. The rest have surrendered. Inside, my parents meet us at a dark booth after closing. The restaurant smells like star anise and fear. I slide Ethan's envelope onto the Formica. We need to talk. Mom opens the flap photos, glinting like fish scales. Dad's Adam's apple bobs. Where did you get this? He whispers. Doesn't matter, Daniel says. It's admissible. Mom's fingertips tremble on the jade bangle at my wrist. For a second, I think she'll beg, but pride clamps her jaw. Everything we did was for family, she insists. I lean forward, voice steady. Then prove it, transfer full ownership of the restaurant to your employees, sign repayment plan for the 42 grand, and issue public apology clearing my name. In return, I delay criminal charges. Dad's eyes widen. You'd dismantle your heritage. Heat prickles my scalp. You dismantled it when you forged your daughter's signature. This is triage, not demolition. Mom's phone buzzes. Caller ID reads Mrs. Carmen Delgado. Investor. She silences it, but I nod. Answer. Tell her about the missing funds before I have to. Mom hesitates, then slides green icon. I watch her shoulders cave while she tries to spin a tale of temporary misallocation. The neon red hums overhead like a liar's polygraph. When she hangs up, her face is chalk. Carmen has frozen the next cash injection. Payroll and rent are due Friday. Dad's voice cracks. What do you want, Izzy? I exhale, taste faux broth memories. I want accountability without annihilation. Sell 49% of your remaining shares to the staff at nominal value. Use proceeds to repay the wedding fund. Sign a statement retracting every rumor about me. And Maddie stays 50 yards away from my child. Mom stares at the lone red stripe reflected in her tea. Your sister won't accept that. She doesn't get a vote, Daniel says. She voted herself out when she weaponized IVF. Dad's hand trembles over the contract Marcus drafted. We lose control. I place my palm over his. Maybe control isn't the family legacy worth saving. Silence thickens until a plate crashes in the kitchen. Tina, the cousin sous chef, emerges red-eyed. I heard everything she says. I'll buy in with my college fund. I'd rather save the shop that raised me. Dad looks at her like she's sunrise after a blackout. Something fragile shifts in his gaze toward me, but before it coalesces, Mom's phone lights again, this time a video call from Maddie. Reflexively, she answers. My sister's face fills the screen, ring light perfection even in chaos. Mom Carmen just DM'd me about some financial irregularities. What did Izzy do? I lean into camera range. Izzy exposed your con, Maddie. Her eyes narrow. You think blowing up the family helps your brand because I promise it'll kill mine and influencers bite back. I feel the baby somersault. A protective fury rises. Brands can rebuild with honesty, I say. But babies only get one childhood. Maddie's lips curl. Then maybe your baby should learn early in business blood cries last. She hangs up. The neon flickers. The red dyes plunging the room into gray. Dad whispers, "Fo, hung mao fo," without color. A chill snakes down my spine. The family symbol just flatlined. We step outside. Cicadas roar. Thunderheads bruise the sky. Daniel pulls me close. How do you feel? Like there's no turning back, I say, and the moment I utter it, a raindrop lands on the jade bangle, then another until the bracelet glistens like a broken promise. My phone buzzes unknown number, but the preview line stops my breath. Cease and desist for defamation. Ngwen v. Ngwen. Maddie's drawn first legal blood. Lightning forks behind the city skyline, and I realize my plan for surgical accountability just graduated to full courtroom war. Somewhere inside the storm, the baby kicks again, a Morse code I can't yet decode, but I whisper to the swell. We'll rewrite the legend. Little Bean. While thunder answers like an unseen jury pounding its gavel. I spend the next 48 hours learning that lawsuits feel less like a duel and more like a sewer line backing up through every vent in your house, slow, foul, unavoidable. Maddie's cease and desist hits my inbox at dawn, 42 pages of influencer-grade indignation wrapped in corporate boilerplate. By breakfast, a clip of her crying on TikTok has 10,000 likes captioned, "When your own sister destroys your fertility journey." My name isn't mentioned, but the timing is translation enough for her followers, #family trauma, #rainbow baby, hijacked. The camera catches her clutching a crystal-infused water bottle, teal Aura filter, turned to maximum empathy. I watch the video once, then again with sound off so I can study the performance beats. 3-second pause for tears, hand to heart at the 6-second mark, soft focus zoom on a nursery mood board tacked behind her. Every frame emits strategy and rage surges so hot my jade bangle feels like it's branding my wrist. Jasmine. Tran, the sharpest civil lit attorney in Travis County, and my old debate team captain meets me in her glass box office overlooking Lady Bird Lake. She flips through Maddie's papers while drumming a Mont Blanc pen like a snare. Cease and desist for defamation, intentional interference, emotional distress, she mutters. Classic scare package, but they did file an actual petition expedited hearing next Friday. I swallow. Can they force me offline? Jasmine shakes her head. Not before discovery, but they can drag your parents in to testify, pit mom against you on record. She looks up, eyes sharpening. You still want to go nuclear? I picture Dad's shoulders folding when Neon dyed picture Tina's college fund on the table. I want truth loud enough to drown out her algorithm. Jasmine slides a retainer agreement across polished walnut. Then we countersue for fraud and restitution, and we make discovery our megaphone. But Izzy, she taps the bangle, whatever breaks in, that courtroom may never mend. I sign anyway, ink bleeding across the line like I'm cutting my finger and swearing oath in blood. Daniel and I drive straight to the restaurant for staff meeting. The sign is dark now, no colors, just a ghost outline humming faintly. Inside, Dad's telling Tina and Jordan they might not make payroll. Guilt clogs the air thicker than steam. I step onto a milk crate, hold up the retainer receipt like a flag. Here's the path forward, I say. 49% employee buy-in, Carmen Delgado, to audit books public apology draft. Jordan raises a hand camera, already rolling for his behind-the-scenes vlog. If we save the shop, will your sister back off the lawsuit? She won't. I answer, but the truth will. Dad watches, eyes glassy, as 5 employees sign intent letters on the spot. Mom hangs back, arms crossed, lip trembling between anger and something older fear, maybe, of losing face in the Vietnamese business council that once crowned her Ba Chu of the year. She opens her mouth, but Ethan strides in wearing court-ready charcoal again. His eyes land on Mom. Mrs. We and your daughter isn't the villain. He sets a stack of notarized statements on the counter. I'm prepared to testify that Madison lied about everything. Dad exhales like he's been underwater too long, but Mom snaps, Why now? Why betray her? Ethan's reply is quiet, because forgiveness starts with daylight. That daylight arrives faster than expected. A push notification from KXAN pops on my phone. Influencer Madison Nguyen announces live gender reveal collab with Austin small business Pho Bay Mao. My lungs clamp. She's hijacked the one thing still ours, turned our symbol into her stage prop. The event is scheduled for Sunday afternoon, 2 days away before any court can intervene. Jordan's eyes widen. Tina curses in Vietnamese. Dad looks at me, voice ragged. She has key to back door. She can live stream from our property. Jasmine, still on speakerphone, barks, file a temporary restraining order today. But if she live streams first, narrative sprint goes to her. Daniel squeezes my hand. We fire up our narrative first. The food truck court where Ethan and I met has a projector wall. Carmen owns the lot. Daniel proposes a counter-event community bowl day free faux live Q&A recorded statements. Jasmine nods. If public opinion is the arena, be first in with receipts. It's risky. I'm pregnant, stressed, juggling lawsuits, but letting Maddie set the frame means surrendering the story forever. We launch within hours. Jordan edits a teaser clip splashing the forged signature side by side with my sonogram text overlay truth. Family, future. Carmen bankrolls food costs in exchange for equity signing. Tina designs graphics of 7 faux toppings melting into a question mark symbol of missing colors. The Vietnamese chamber shares it. UT student paper picks it up. Local foodie influencers add flame emojis. By midnight, # colorless faux trends regionally alongside #faux reveals truth. Maddie responds with an Instagram story calling me monetizer of trauma and hinting she'll drop medical sabotage receipts at her reveal. Ethan texts me, she's bluffing. She fabricated lab results before. I have originals. He attaches PDF scans. I forward to Jasmine under subject line silver bullets. Sunday breaks, hot sky wound tight with summer haze. Carmen's lot fills with picnic tables, string lights, giant projection screen. I'm in a loose linen dress, the color of unripe lime, bangle and belly, both prominent. Daniel at my side, holding an umbrella like we're a diplomatic motorcade. Jordan's camera drones overhead. Tina ladles broth. Dad mans the brisket station with quiet determination. Mom hovers near the condiment bar, face unreadable, but she wears the jade twin of my bracelet, the one she almost tried to slip back on my wrist the night the neon dyed an unspoken surrender flag. At 2:30, Jordan cues the countdown. The screen flashes, the bank withdrawal stills, then Ethan walks up, mic trembling only slightly. He tells everything: Maddie flushing birth control pills, forging IVF records, coercing my parents with influencer deals. Gasps ripple across the crowd. College kids, aunties from church, hipster techies, all spooning broth that suddenly tastes like scandal stew. I watch Mom's expression crumble. Tears catch in her mascara, but she doesn't look away, and for a heartbeat, compassion pierces my anger. She was duped by the child she adored. For some immigrant parents, guilt and pride share the same passport stamp. Halfway through Ethan's testimony, my phone vibrates, unknown FaceTime, likely Maddie. I ignore. It rings again, then again, relentless. Finally, I step behind the supply truck, answer on mute. Maddie's face is streaked with makeup, eyes feral. You think you won? She screams before I can unmute. My legal team's filing emergency injunction. Your little bowl fiesta is defamation live stream. Behind her, the restaurant kitchen gleams. I glimpse neon outlines through the window. She's inside Faux Bay Mao live stream rig pointed at the dormant sign. My gut twists. Get out of the restaurant, Maddie, I say. This isn't safe for either of us. She laughs, high-pitched. Safety. Honey, I'm giving the internet what it wants redemption arc with spicy family tea. She spins the camera trays of colored smoke bombs, line the prep counter 7 cylinders for 7 neon stripes. She's planning to reignite the brand in literal fireworks. An alarm bell tolls in my head. That sign wiring is ancient. Dad's begged city inspectors for reprieve cycles. One spark near leaking transformer potential fire hazard. I run to Dad, breath hitching. He blanches. Transformer can't handle surges. Carmen's lot is 4 blocks south, but sirens carry. Daniel grabs car keys. We sprint Jasmine and Ethan and half the staff piling into cars. Traffic snarls around a street fair. Daniel barrels down an alley, parks crooked. Smoke curls above rooftops, turquoise, then magenta clouds. The restaurant front door stands open. A crowd already gathers, filming on phones. Inside, neon flickers violently as colored smoke fills the dining room like a rave. Maddie stands on the counter, remote in hand, followers popping heart emojis on the mounted tablet. Mom's jade bangle clacks on my wrist like a metronome of doom. Dad shouts Maddie the Transformer, but she can't hear over cheering online. The red stripe sputters to life, sparks cascade. Someone screams. Electricity coughs, then a pop like a gunshot. The glass tube explodes, showering shards. Maddie drops the remote. Terror replaces bravado. I shove through smoke hall, her down, just as another tube bursts green lightning overhead. Daniel hits the breaker. Lights die, smoke dims. Sirens growl closer. We stumble outside, choking on chili-scented phosphorus. Fire trucks screech, curbside EMTs rush forward. Maddie sobs, mascara bleeding. I taste metal again, but also pity. She almost burned everything literally for engagement metrics. A firefighter leads her to ambulance. Crowds film. Mom grips my shoulders. Tears and soot streaking her face, whispers in Vietnamese. Kanoi me xin loi. I'm sorry, child. For the first time in months, I don't shrug away. I'm too shaken, and forgiveness sometimes arrives disguised as exhaustion. Paramedics clear us. No major injuries, only superficial cuts. Detective Marcus appears, flashing badge. Cities pressing code violation charges. Evidence of unauthorized pyrotechnics. Maddie, wrapped in foil blanket, is cuffed with gentle professionalism. Cameras capture the moment. Influencers scatter like pigeons. Dad watches devastation, shattered neon broth, splattered walls, but then he turns to employees huddled nearby. We rebuild, he says hoarsely with 7 new colors. Tina nods, face shining with adrenaline and hope. The community bowl crowd arrives, handing out leftover broth to firefighters, crafting impromptu lanterns from to-go containers, symbol of light earned, not inherited. Jasmine checks her phone, eyes widening. Judge just granted our TRO. Maddie's content has to come down, and she's barred from approaching you or the restaurant. Relief swells, but grief shadows it. Lawsuits will still grind, restitution still due, and the restaurant's heartline sits in twisted glass at our feet. I pick up a shard violet, the first color I ever replaced, edges sharp enough to draw blood if I squeeze. I slide it into my pocket, tiny coffin for what died today or seed for something new, I'm not sure yet. Daniel wraps an arm around me as dusk bleeds gold over charred signage. You saved her life, he whispers. I exhale shaky laughter. And she almost burnt ours. Siren lights strobe across Mom and Dad's faces, fear, regret, a flicker of resolve. Detective Marcus snaps photos, evidence tags flutter like funeral ribbons. I feel the baby kick solid and deliberate, as though reminding me the future is interrupting whether we're ready or not. Somewhere behind us, a reporter asks Ethan if the restaurant will reopen. He answers, Yes, under new stewardship, new colors, same soul. I close my eyes, smell smoke and star anise intertwined, and I understand the next battle won't be fought in hashtags or courtrooms, but in rebuilding trust, one brick, one bangle, one bowl at a time. A single drop of rain lands on my palm, clean, cool possibility, and thunder murmurs distant encore. I open my eyes to the ruined sign. Imagine a new one, blinking to life in 7 fresh hues powered by wiring that doesn't spark fear. But before we can rebuild the city, Inspector approaches with a clipboard face grave. Transformer failure caused secondary damage to the building's main panel, she says. Structure is temporarily condemned. You have 72 hours to vacate. Dad staggers. Mom gasps. The employees look at me. 72 hours. 3 days. The time we thought we had to save the restaurant now becomes a countdown to eviction. And as the inspector tapes a bright orange unsafe to occupy notice, across the shattered door, I realize our war just leveled up again. Smoke drifts past the sign. The violet shard in my pocket presses like an ember. I square my shoulders, tuck Mom's twin jade bangle securely, and whisper to Daniel, "We're not done. We're just out of daylight." Morning creeps through our apartment blinds like it's been interrogating a confession all night and finally decided to spill the light. Daniel's already at the kitchen island assembling triage kits, extra phone chargers, a folder labeled condemnation evidence Tupperware of leftover broth because apparently comfort food is the only thing still ours. I shuffle in jade bangle, clinking against the violet shard I kept from the sign, both tucked in my pocket, like keys that open opposite doors. 72 hours crawl across my phone screen in red calendar blocks. Every breath feels like ripping another page off a flip chart that's on fire. First priority, relocate the staff. Tina's couch surfing with cousins. Jordan's posted a vlog asking subscribers for spare rooms, but Mrs. Ortiz, the 70-year-old dishwasher, who's been with Fobe Mao since Clinton was governor, cried in the parking lot last night because the restaurant is literally her living room. Daniel texts our realtor friend to arrange a short-term lease on a defunct taco stand 2 blocks east. It has 4 walls, running water, no sentimental ghosts, good enough. Carmen Delgado fronts first month's rent. In return, she wants written confirmation the employee share deal stands even if the main building dies. I sign it without blinking. At 10 a.m., Jasmine calls from courthouse steps, breathless. Good news arraignment set for Maddie next Thursday on code violations. Bad news, her PR firm just blasted a press release blaming unsafe immigrant workmanship for the neon fire. They're basically calling your dad's maintenance crew incompetent. My stomach knots. That dog whistle slices through Austin's multicultural calm like a machete. Jasmine continues. Local talk radio's running with it. If that narrative sticks, condemnation becomes moral verdict against your family's craftsmanship. I press fingertips to my belly, grounding myself in the thump of a tiny foot. We counter with receipts, I say. Find inspection reports showing the sign met code until Maddie's fireworks. Jasmine chuckles darkly. Already subpoenaed. But Izzy, she's pulling the anti-immigrant lever. That wedge cuts deep in election season. We split up like heist crew. Daniel heads to city records to pull past invoices. Detective Marcus hunts for the inspector's body cam footage from the night of the fire. I drive to the condemned restaurant, orange notice glaring like a scarlet letter. 2 moving trucks idle at the curb. Dad directs staff in hard hats, boxing walks, and broth kettles. He looks smaller than I remember, like shame siphoned inches off his spine. When he spots me, he shuffles over hands buried in denim pockets. They take our home, he mutters English, heavy with fatigue. I rest a hand on his shoulder. Walls are replaceable, bah. Heritage isn't. He nods, but his eyes stay locked on the storefront, as if he's rehearsing goodbye to a lifetime. Inside, Mom packs framed newspaper clippings into a crate. I pick up the 1993 article headlined, Taste of Saigon Lights Up East, 11th Younger Versions of My Parents Grinning Under a Virgin Neon Rainbow. Mom brushes dust from the glass, then meets my gaze. I wore this bangle the day we opened, she whispers, touching her wrist twin. Thought it would protect prosperity. Her lip quivers. Prosperity demanded too many sacrifices. My throat tightens because hearing her admit that is like watching a closed fist unclench after decades. I pull the violet shard from my pocket, drop it into the box atop the article. Keep the lessons with the memories, I say. She closes the lid. While we load crates, an SUV with tinted windows glides up. Out steps a man in a cobalt suit, designer loafers, skipping puddles. He introduces himself as Cole Randall, Acquisitions Director for Calum Realty Holdings. Cole smiles TV anchor style. Calum specializes in revitalizing transitional corridors, he says, handing Dad a glossy brochure of slick condos. We're prepared to buy your distressed asset handle demo, give you 90 days free rent in retail space under the new development. Dad stiffens. Building, not for sale. Cole's smile widens like a shark smelling hemoglobin. City leans at $180K for electrical replacement, and asbestos abatement cost goes up daily. My offer erases that burden and gives your family a golden parachute. I step forward. Interesting timing, considering condemnation happened 48 hours ago. Cole shrugs. We read municipal dockets fast. From his breast pocket, a document peeks layout sketches labeled Madison Wellness Cafe. My pulse spikes. You're working with Maddie, I say. His eyes flicker, not denial, not confirmation. Calum partners with visionary entrepreneurs, he says. Your sister has a strong brand. I snort. She'll have a stronger booking photo. Cole's smile finally wobbles. Clock's ticking, Ms. Nguyen. Sentimentality is expensive. He slides a business card into Dad's hand and leaves. As the SUV pulls away, Tina jogs up breathless, waving her phone. Boss, you're trending again, unsafe foe. She shows a viral clip Maddie's lawyer on morning TV blaming old immigrant wiring. My jaw clenches. We need to flip the script now. Jordan suggests a live stream from inside the condemned Shell Raw tour showing intact wiring, charred only where Maddie's smoke bombs burned. Jasmine texts, inspector's draft report says fireworks triggered overload, not decay. Goes public 40H. We can't wait that long. Online mobs devour nuance and puke bones by then. I climb a stack of flour sacks, camera facing the broken sign, guts belly unmistakable. Tina starts recording. Hey, Austin, and anyone else chewing on Maddie Nguyen's latest narrative, I begin, voice steady but fierce. This wiring passed city inspection twice last year. What failed was conscience, not craftsmanship. I hold up a melted smoke canister stamped Spark FX TM. Here's the difference between heritage and hype. Heritage feeds community. Hype feeds itself. I pan camera to Dad wrapping power cords. My father built this place with 2 languages and 1 pair of hands. He's never hurt anyone for likes. Then I show Cole's business card zoom on Calum logo. Ask yourself why developers smell smoke and show up waving checkbooks. I end feed with the violet shard in my palm. This color burned tonight, but it's not gone. It's in us. I upload within minutes. Back at City Records, Daniel discovers something dirtier. The condemnation order was filed 2 hours before the fire. Timestamp proof. He texts scan to me. My knees go weak. That means someone planned to shutter us before Maddie's stunt fire just sealed the narrative. Marcus cross-references property logs. Calum Realty submitted a redevelopment proposal 3 weeks ago contingent on vacant lot status. Jasmine's reply pops up. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. County DA will salivate. We arrange emergency meeting with the DA if we can prove Maddie colluded. Her defamation lawsuit crumbles and criminal charges escalate. But we need the inspector to testify the order date was doctored or prematurely processed. As the sun dips, employees move final crates to the taco stand exile. Mom locks the door. Orange notice flaps like a dying kite. Dad hands me Cole's brochure. He offers more money than restaurant ever worth. I tear it in half. Blood money. Dad whispers, maybe we deserve quick exit after what we did to you. Tears sting my eyes. Mistakes don't make us undeserving of justice. They just make justice complicated. We hug, and in that grip, I realize forgiveness isn't a light switch. It's a dimmer rising degree by degree. We gather at the taco stand makeshift HQ. Carmen arrives with spreadsheets. Jordan sets up LED panels. Tina ladles test broth from portable burners. The place smells like possibility and panic. Carmen has intel Calem's backed by a PAC funding anti-immigrant campaigns statewide. If they acquire this lot, she says they'll greenwash gentrification, wipe one more immigrant story off the map. She proposes crowd equity community members buy micro-shares in the rebuild matching employee stake. It's ambitious. SEC filing hurdles loom, but ambition is oxygen tonight. I glance at the violet shard taped to the prep fridge, reflect string lights glinting off its jagged edge. Jordan's newest design flashes on a laptop, a phoenix made of 7 broth-colored flames rising from a noodle bowl. Logo for Fobe Mao 2.0. Plans swirl until midnight. Jasmine calls with bombshell Inspector Harley just confirmed Calem lobbyist offered him a consulting honorarium to expedite condemnation. He's willing to testify in exchange for limited immunity. My pulse bangs. This turns civil lawsuit into Ryko playground. Jasmine crows. We flip, Calem dismantle Maddie's wellness cafe deal, maybe get the building back under emergency injunction. Adrenaline surges. Daniel cracks open celebratory Topo Chico. But a contraction, sharp knot Braxton Hicks slashes my abdomen. I breathe through it, hand on belly. Daniel's eyes widen. That's not normal. I shake my head. Just stress. He counts seconds. It passes. I sip water, reassure him. Baby kicks lightly, as if to say, still here, Mom. Dawn of day 2 in the 72-hour cycle opens with a new twist. My fintech startup places me on reputational leave, citing potential brand risk, while my family makes headlines. Severance covers bills, but health insurance now ties to Daniel's plan. Paperwork migraine. I email board receipts of condemnation conspiracy. Some reply with cautious emojis, others ghost. Social media noise turns my maternity leave into talk show fodder. Should pregnant employees be shielded from family scandals? The discourse feels surreal, like I'm a case study, not a person carrying a human. Midday, we meet the district attorney in his wood-paneled war room. He reviews Marcus's timestamp evidence inspector affidavit, Calem emails referencing Project Rainbow Flip. DA's eyes spark. We'll open an investigation. But injunction to halt demolition requires a judge's signature today. Hearing scheduled 5 p.m. downtown. Jasmine squeezes my hand. We show probable cause, judge stays condemnation, buys you runway. But Calem will field their own attorneys, and Maddie, released on bail, could testify against me to preserve her brand and potential payout. My stomach churns, partly baby craving banh mi, partly fear of facing my sister again under fluorescent courtroom glare. At 4:30, the courtroom hall thrums like beehive. Dad-mom employees Carmen UT kids in faux 7-color shirts show solidarity. Maddie arrives flanked by 2 lawyers and a stylist adjusting her blazer to accentuate faux humility. She catches my eye, offers brittle smile. I clutch the bangle. She notes, it rolls her shoulders. The bailiff calls case. Oak doors swing wide. Inside, fluorescent lights hum. Judge, a stern woman with silver bob, gives us 30 minutes to argue. Jasmine opens like a battering ram, forged signatures, fraudulent condemnation, timing, developer, collusion. She projects timestamp scans, inspector affidavit, murmurs, ripple. Calem's lawyer counters that building was a public hazard, that fireworks were an unfortunate accident, that my video admits old wiring. I grit teeth. Jasmine clarifies context. Then, Maddie's counsel requests to present new evidence of pattern of safety negligence compiled from old Yelp reviews complaining about flickering lights. Judge allows 5 minutes. Maddie takes stand, voice trembling. I only wanted to modernize my parents' restaurant, keep their legacy alive. Izzy refused upgrades, left wiring dangerous. She glances at me like she's offering a lifeline if I'll just nod. I stare back, unblinking. Jasmine cross-examines. Didn't you set off unauthorized pyrotechnics? Maddie dabs tears. I believed the system safe. Jasmine fires final salvo. And did you or Calum lobby for early condemnation? Objection flies. Judge sustains. Question lingers like gunsmoke. Time's up. Judge recesses for 10 minutes to deliberate. I step into hallway for air contraction clamps me again fiercer. Sweat beads. Daniel's hand massages my back. We'll go to ER, he whispers. I shake, head breathe. Pain eases, but adrenaline leaves me dizzy. I lean against marble jade bangle cool on my wrist. Mom joins, offers water. Silence stretches until Maddie walks over, alone, lawyers occupied. Her mascara is perfect this time. You could still drop criminal stuff, she murmurs. Let Calum buy the place, split the payday. Think of your baby's college. I study her face. There's a flicker, not greed this time, but desperation. Is your brand broke? I ask. She looks away. Sponsors froze deals. Followers love redemption arcs, hate legal mess. She meets my gaze, eyes glassy. I need this win, Izzy. My voice softens despite everything. At what price? Maddie burned Dad's life. Again, steal community space, she swallows. People forget outrage fast. I shake head. Not the ones who bleed. Bailiff calls us back. Heart pounds, drums in my ears. Judge returns, gavel tapping wood like thunder's gavel. Given evidence of possible fraud and public safety misrepresentation, I grant temporary injunction halting demolition and transfer of property for 60 days pending investigation. Applause from our side. Calum counsel scowls. Judge adds, moreover, I find reasonable cause to freeze any real estate transactions and associated influencer agreements under review. Maddie's knees buckle. She grips bench. Victory tastes metallic because it's forged in stress. The courtroom empties. Dad hugs employees, Carmen fist pumps. Maddie's lawyers huddle, then storm out. She lingers, eyes shiny. I'm about to approach when another contraction stabs deeper hot iron band around abdomen. Daniel sees panic in my eyes. Hospital now. Jasmine waves ride. We rush down steps. Ambulance siren not necessary yet, but lights blur edges of vision. Belly tightens again. Maybe Braxton Hicks, maybe more. EMT at intake checks, vitals, monitors baby. Heartbeat steady, cervix closed. Probably stress contractions, she says. Prescribes rest hydration, less adrenaline, doctor's joke lands flat. Lying on triage bed, I stare at ceiling tiles, counting tiny perforations. Mom sits nearby, holding my hand for first time since pre-wedding dress fitting. She whispers, "Me proud of your strength." Tears pool in my ears. I learned resilience by watching you chase the American dream, I reply. She squeezes. Dream can become nightmare if we forget to wake up. I nod. Quiet fills spaces words can't patch. Release papers printed. Daniel wheels me to elevator. In the lobby, an alert buzzes on every phone. Breaking influencer Madison Nguyen under investigation for real estate fraud. Brand partners drop sponsorship. Headline scrolls accompanied by split screen of our courthouse photo and her neon fire. Daniel glances at me. Fallout's accelerating. I exhale slowly. Ashes make fertile soil. Elevator dings. We step out into night air heavy with impending storm again. Car ride home is still only wiper blades and distant thunder. At a stoplight, jade bangle slips clinks against dash. I remember the shard in my pocket and wonder what fusion those two relics could create if melted together. Old trust, new truth. 30 minutes later, we pull into apartment lot, but porch light flickers despite fresh bulb. On the door hangs a courier envelope marked Urgent Notice of Foreclosure. My blood chills. Daniel rips it open. Our parents used the restaurant as collateral for a balloon loan months ago, and because ownership transfer entered limbo lender accelerated default next of kin liable. I lean against doorframe, belly-taut breath vanishing. 72 hours to vacate became 60 days to investigate, but foreclosure clock ignores injunctions. Daniel's voice breaks. If bank seizes property, Calum buys at auction pennies on dollar. The monster we thought we'd slay just slipped through a loophole wearing a banker's tie. Lightning cracks overhead, illuminating rain-slicked streets. I clutch bangle and shard feel baby kick sharp like punctuation at the end of hope. Another contraction pierces stronger than before, doubling me over. Water doesn't break, but fear gushes. Daniel steadies me, eyes wide. Hospital again. I shake head throat tight. No, we have one night to stop foreclosure paperwork before it files at 9 a.m. He searches my eyes. You're 8 weeks from term. I straighten, fiery ache easing. Our child deserves a hometown story unbought by predators. We fight. Thunder answers like a judge's gavel. Daniel unlocks door. We step inside. I spread documents across dining table, foreclosure notice, injunction, timestamp evidence. Rain drums, roof thunder rolls. Storm outside matches storm in my womb, and storm in City Hall and social feeds. The violet shard lies beside the jade bangle, a broken color and an unbroken promise. I rub belly, whisper, hang on, little bean. Dawn's our deadline. Lightning blacks out the block. Power dies. In total darkness, Daniel lights a single soy candle on table. Flame flickers violet at its core, jade at its rim. A coincidence, maybe, or a sign the universe still writes poetry in RGB code. He meets my gaze across paperwork. Ready, he asks. I nod. For everything. Thunder quits around 2 a.m, but inside our apartment, a different storm is just hitting stride, paper hurricanes, phone call lightning, the relentless drum of less than 7 hours, Izzy. Daniel and I build a war room out of Post-its and take out sachets of hoisin. The foreclosure packet says the loan is in technical default for $82,000 interest compounding at sunrise. At 9 a.m., a trustee auction goes live online. Winner takes title at whatever bid clears lien plus fees. We could beg the court for a stay, but holiday docket is skeleton staff, no judge until noon. So either we pony up the arrears by 8:59 or the building slips into Calum's talons before anyone bangs a gavel. I'm up $253 short of a panic attack, telling myself labor won't start mid-all-nighter because the baby's got better timing than that, right? The kid flips in my belly like he's auditioning for synchronized diving, offering no guarantees. Step 1, count resources. Carmen's matching fund sits at $35K, employee pool at 20, Daniel's cashed out vacation, and my severance add 6. We're still $21,000 in the hole. Jasmine proposes an emergency. Chapter 11. Filing automatic stay would freeze the sale, but we'd need a judge's signature and full petitions drafted, which a sane lawyer might manage in 48 hours, not 5. Detective Marcus texts that the DA seized Calum's Austin HQ computers. Good for long game, useless before breakfast. Tina pings Reddit launches Arthur Austin Faux Rescue. Jordan schedules a 5-hour overnight live stream he dubs Color Back Our Bowl. If we can convince enough night owls and insomniac foodies to pledge micro shares $100 promissory notes converting to equity once the injunction settles, we might patch the gap. It's risky, as juggling Cleaver's SEC paperwork thin as tissue, but guerrilla crowdfunding beats waiting for mercy from a bank that's already sold us downriver. We convert living room into broadcast set. Daniel strings fairy lights. Jordan mounts his DSLR. I throw on the lime green dress from the bowl event, wrinkled, still smelling faintly of smoke and star anise. The jade bangle and violet shard catch pinpricks of LED sparkles, hope and scar side by side. At 3:02 a.m., we go live. Jordan opens with B-roll of the condemned storefront overlay headline, Foreclosure Clock, 05:58:29, and counting. I step into frame, voice low, so the worry feels personal, not preachy, and tell viewers that heritage isn't the color of paint, but the taste of broth. The jokes swapped over prep sinks, the Spanish and Vietnamese and Tejano slang seasoning the air. Donations tick in $5 from a grad student, $500 from a tech VP who once found his hangover cure in our foe, and every ping feels like a heartbeat injected back into the building's veins. Half an hour later, Jasmine patches in via Zoom breaks down legal chess in plain talk. Ethan follows holding the forged IVF forms like a cautionary parable about truth's half-life. Numbers climb 63K65, but plateau at 4 until pattern fatigue sets in. I rack my brain for a jolt. Symbols matter. I reach for the violet shard, hold it to camera. This piece broke when neon exploded, but under the right fire it can melt, reshape, shine again, I say, voice shaking. If we fund the gap tonight, we'll fuse this fragment into the new sign, every donor's name etched in the glass. Chat erupts purple heart emojis. The total inches to 7072. Daniel whispers, we're still short by 11. Then 4:47 a.m. A knock rattles the door. Rain has stopped, but the hallway echoes water drip suspense. Daniel peers through peephole, stiffens. I waddle over, yes, waddle. Pregnancy humbles swagger and see Maddie in soaked blazer mascara freestyle. Jordan keeps livestream focused on the counter mic muted. Audience sees only donation ticker. Daniel cracks door, keeps chain latched. You're trespassing, he says. Maddie's voice is wrecked. I need to talk to Izzy privately. I'm all trauma math. Daniel's eyes ask, safe. I nod. We move to stairwell, camera free. She shivers, thrusts a flash drive forward. Calum's contract with me. Emails show they planned to cut me out once title transferred, rebrand restaurant without my name. They're using me as distraction. Her voice breaks. I was stupid. I study her, searching for influencer crocodile sheen, find only exhaustion. Why hand this over? She wipes rain. Because their lawyers say if deal tanks, I'm liable for their marketing costs. That foreclosure is my last bargaining chip, and they'll still ditch me. Your live stream kills it. Better I help you and maybe salvage jail time. What do you want, I ask. She swallows. Public apology won't fix my brand, but it can save me from ruin. Go on your stream and say I'm cooperating, that I was misled. Help me climb out of the ditch. My gut twists. Morality is always messier in real time. I set conditions, full confession, restitution of IVF money to employee pool, no future stake in restaurant. She nods, tears real this time. We re-enter the apartment, chain removed. Audience sees Izzy Nguyen and disgraced influencer sister side by side. Chat explodes. Maddie breathes once, then spills confession lies about fertility. Baby trap attempt, forged lab reports, Calum collusion. She ends with, I'm sorry, Izzy. I'm sorry. Austin voice hoarse raw, and for first time since childhood, I hear her without filters. Donations detonate $1,220. A Houston chef pledges $10K, a Vietnamese American veterans group matches. The ticker rolls past 91, 93, 98,000 like a slot machine finally paying out. At 5:56 a.m., we cross the goal, $101,342. Jordan cues confetti overlay. I exhale shaky relief that tastes of broth and midnight. But celebrations wait. Jasmine instructs wire protocol. Pledges need escrow deposit at bank before 8:45 to halt sale. Daniel and Ethan race to print affidavits. Carmen arranges courier. Maddie drained curls on couch. I cover her with blanket, bewildered by instinct to comfort. Outside, dawn bleeds grapefruit over skyline. 6:40 finds us pulling into Lone Star Community Bank's marble lobby. A posse of unlikely allies, lawyer, restaurateur, influencer, programmer, detective, all clutching stacks of notarized pledges. The foreclosure officer, Mr. Price, sports a board tie. Jasmine presents cashier's checks totaling arrears plus fees. He skims documents, eyebrows climbing. Funds look valid, but foreclosures automated must cancel in system before 8:59. He taps keys, frowns. Account locked. He dials upstairs, expression hardening. Corporate override, he mouths. Alarm bells sing in my head. Jasmine presses, but Price shrugs helpless. System flagged property for expedited buyback directive from regional VP. Marcus leans in. Name of VP Cole Randall, Price admits. My pulse spikes. Jasmine hisses. He's Calum's acquisition director. Conflict of interest much. We fly up to the 12th floor, crash into a glass office where Cole sits flanked by two attorneys. He greets us with predator calm. Automatic bid accepted at 9. Too late. Jasmine slams evidence of payment on his desk. Cole folds hands. Payment doesn't clear suspicion of money laundering. We need 48 hours compliance review. My temper detonates. You forged condemnation, bribed inspector, now you stall. Cole keeps smirk. Prove it in court, Ms. Nguyen, after auction closes. Ethan steps forward, voice like dry ice. Court will enjoy my emails with your signature promising kickbacks. He slides flash drive onto desk. Cole's veneer cracks. Before he answers, Detective Marcus receives text shows badge. DA just obtained arrest warrant for Randall on bribery. Hands where we can see. Officers sweep in, cuff Cole mid-protest. The auction algorithm freezes. Relief crashes over me, then a contraction rips harder than any before doubling me behind a ficus. My gasp draws everyone. Daniel kneels. Timer's moved to you, he whispers. We ride elevator down. Water hasn't broken, but rhythm regular now. Jasmine finalizes cancellation with acting VP, while EMTs meet us curbside. Maddie insists on riding ambulance, holding my hand, apologizing between siren wails. Hospital corridors blur. I'm admitted for monitoring. 7-minute intervals. Doctor says early labor possible. They'll try hydration rest. Rest is cosmic joke. My phone pings nonstop media requests, donors, lawyers. Daniel confiscates it. He reads one headline aloud, though community crowdfunds to block gentrifier. Jade and violet symbols ignite Austin unity. I smile through a grimace. Maddie paces room until nurse politely shoos her. Before leaving, she sets Mom's twin jade bangle on my bedside table. She'd borrowed it for court optics. It belongs with you, she whispers. I place the violet shard beside it. The two relics catch fluorescent glare, lend calm. Hours stretch, rubber band thin. Contractions down to 12 minutes, then spaced. False labor, after all. Doctor releases me with strict bed rest. At dusk, Daniel wheels me to discharge desk when Mom and Dad hurry in, eyes bright with worry. Dad holds a velvet pouch inside a handmade pendant where violet shard has been fused into a circle of jade. His friend the jeweler performed miracle while we fought foreclosure. The mixed stone glows lavender at edges, emerald at heart. Dad clips it to chain places around my neck. Family is mistakes melted into memory, he says, voice thick. We hug, clasp cool pendant between us. As we exit, hospital twilight hums summer insects. Foreclosure gone. Cole arrested Maddie, cooperating restaurant title safe for now, victories real but fragile. We still need to rebuild wiring, settle lawsuits, complete equity paperwork. Yet, for first time, I believe dawn might bring more answers than questions. Daniel helps me into car. A text from Jasmine lands, inspector's full confession unsealed, mentions Calum board members, crooked loan officer. News drops at 6 a.m., brace for shocks. I pocket phone turn pendant between fingers and whisper to our unborn son the single truth I finally own. Color comes back stronger after fire. He kicks in reply, steady, sure, a drummer counting intro to the last act. 5 months blur past in a montage. Nobody edits subpoenas and sonograms, rewiring permits, and parenting classes. Mediation rooms that smell like burnt coffee and lavender hand sanitizer. Every week folds worry into victory, like dough in a pastry knead. Chill repeat until the calendar lands on November 7th, the day Austin agrees to witness two births, one of a restaurant reborn in 7 fresh colors, and one of a child who's been practicing kick drums on my ribcage like he's headlining ACL. At 6 a.m., I'm on a stepladder in front of the new facade, same address, brand new bones, guiding an electrician as he snaps the final tube into place. The neon hums alive, not the old skinny rainbow, but a thicker loop of interlocking jade and violet that blossoms into 5 more hues, each fed by code-compliant wiring Carmen insisted on double-inspected. I tap the glass. It glows steady, no flicker, no spark, no ghosts. Under the sign hangs a plaque etched with 800 donor names. The first line reads, Community, Condemnation, and under that, dedicated to every color that survives the fire. Inside staff shuffle through final prep. Tina calibrates induction burners. Jordan rehearses a documentary cold open. Mrs. Ortiz arranges basil sprigs in mason jars like they're flowers at a wedding between past and future. Dad checks broth clarity with a polished ladle, happy sighing like the smell alone could lower his blood pressure. Mom slides bonquan trays into a case labeled Heritage Bites. They move with the hush of marathoners at mile 25, exhausted, determined, fueled by the promise of finish line confetti. A soft news crew sets up near the hostess stand. The anchor whispers she can't believe a small business beat both foreclosure and a developer indicted under RICO charges. Jasmine grins from a corner booth, scrolling headlines. Cole Randall took a plea. Calem's CEO resigned. The bank faces civil penalties for conflict of interest. She says we'll settle restitution next quarter and employee shares convert once auditors finish. Her grin widens when she tells me the DA filed to expunge my parents' forgery record in light of coercion evidence. Second chances in legalese taste surprisingly sweet. The only detail unsettled is the presence or absence of Maddie. My sister has spent the past months in restorative justice agreements funding an employee health insurance pool, recording a 5-part podcast on influencer accountability, and volunteering at a public defender's media literacy clinic. She pleaded no contest to misdemeanor code violation, avoided jail, and disappeared from algorithms for a mandatory digital detox. We text sometimes surface stuff, how's baby, how's therapy, remember mom's prune chicken, but we haven't shared air since the foreclosure fight. Part of me wants her here to prove redemption arcs aren't marketing tricks. Part of me worries tension might spike my blood pressure. The pendant Dad made, violet fused into jade, rests cool against my chest. Its weight reminding me boundaries and bridges share the same raw material heat pressure choice. 8 o'clock ribbon cutting nears. The sidewalk swells with neighbors holding paper lanterns Carmen handed out. UT drummers warm up. A mariachi quartet that played at our original opening has returned, trumpets gleaming. I step outside for pre-show breath when headlights slice dawn. A Prius parks. Maddie climbs out wearing jeans, no stylist, no filter, just her. She carries a cardboard box and nervous half-smile. We meet halfway between curb and door, neither sure if hug or handshake applies. She chooses words. Instead, I heard you still needed decor. From the box, she lifts 7 vintage bowls, our childhood faux set, Mom shipped from Saigon, presumed lost. I found them in a Calem storage unit when I turned over evidence. Figured they belong on the wall again. I run a thumb along a chipped rim. Each bowl sports a faded stripe matching our sign's colors. My voice wavers. You kept them safe. She shrugs. They reminded me what influence should taste like. We carry the box in together. Staff freeze, then exchange cautious nods. Mom's eyes glisten. She places bowls above open kitchen pass through an altar to continuity. Dad clears his throat, announces restaurant needs many hands. Family is learning how to share ladles. Laughter loosens the room's shoulders. At 7:59 a.m., sunlight strikes the neon, casting rainbow halos onto the sidewalk crowd. I climb a small stage, Carmen set up pendant, catching the glow belly round beneath apron printed with the new Phoenix logo. I welcome everyone. English, then. Vietnamese, sprinkling Spanish. Because heritage never stays in a single language. And I explain that today's ribbon isn't silk, but rice noodle sheet mom rolled by hand at 2 a.m. When we cut it, broth sweat and second chances are officially back on the menu. Jordan's drone swoops overhead, streaming live. Hashtags blossom, hot faux 7 colors, reborn, hot neon, of hope. We count down, scissors, snip, noodle, ribbon snaps, cheers erupt, and a uterine contraction headbutts my speech. It is not a drill. Pain spears spine. Water does the cliche Hollywood gush down my legs. For the second time in my life, the sign's violet light reflects off puddled liquid under my feet. But this time, it's amniotic purity, not Transformer doom. The crowd hushes, then squeals in sympathetic panic. Daniel's at my side, instantly hand on small of back. Jasmine dials ambulance, but I shake head. Hospital's 6 blocks rush hour gridlock worse than a final boss. Carmen's SUV sits nearby. She tosses keys to Daniel's staff, clear a path. I pause before leaving, grab microphone again. Our first table for one is on his way, I announce, breathless, so keep the broth hot. I'll be back for dessert. Laughter, applause, phone cameras. Hope tastes spicy on exhale. In the car, contractions every 3 minutes. I focus on pendant warmth and neon afterglow in side mirror. Daniel speeds, but safe. He asks whether I want music. I request silence, need to hear baby's Morse code kicks. We reach emergency bay in record time. Nurses wheel me through triage. I glimpse local news feed on waiting room screen reporters praising community resilience donors slurping breakfast. The story is telling itself now. I can finally just live it. Labor storms for 6 hours, epidural fails, then works, then half works. I curse in 3 languages, invent hybrid expletives. Maddie, allowed in under-sibling exception, holds one leg while Daniel grips the other. They form awkward truce over my roaring. I push against fear and gravity, and at 2:16 p.m. a cry cracks open the universe. They place my son on my chest, slick, loud, perfect. His little fists flail like he's still fighting foreclosure trolls. I whisper, "Welcome, Phoenix Vin Walker Nguyen." Name tastes bright, Phoenix for rebirth, Vin for endurance, Walker honoring Ethan, who never walked away from truth. Tiny fingers curl around pendant, the fused jade-violet loop, and for one breath, everything aligns, heritage, hazard, healing. Postpartum wing hums low. Dad delivers thermos of bone broth approved by lactation consultant. Mom places the 7th vintage bowl on bedside table filled with basil sprigs. Ethan stops by with gift certificate for future college fund jokes that if the kid learns contracts early, he'll avoid our mistakes. Tina texts photo of dinner rush line out the door, bowls selling out. The restaurant hashtag now out trends celebrity gossip. Community equity investors meet SEC filing criteria, shares issue next week. Mrs. Ortiz video calls to show pendant projected onto bar wall under sign reading color carried forward in English and Vietnamese. Maddie sits quietly at window. She turned down press requests, says her next content won't monetize trauma but monitor corporate ethics, maybe watchdog, maybe redemption rung. She asks if she can hold Phoenix. I nod. She settles him into crook of arm, eyes shining. He feels like sunrise, she whispers. I lean back, exhaustion cloaked in gratitude. Boundaries remain, she's aunt, not co-parent, but forgiveness is dimmer, clicks a notch brighter. That night, the hospital dims lights. Daniel snores on fold-out chair. Neon from streetlight spills violet onto floor tiles. I rise carefully, IV pole humming, and shuffle to window. Austin skyline twinkles, cranes still climb. Progress still barters heritage for square footage. But our strip of East 11th now pulses with 7 strands of color no algorithm can buy. The sign's glow bends against glass and merges with pendant reflection on my gown-framing phoenix sleeping in bassinet. I snap mental Polaroid proof that broken glass and jade regrets can weld into circles fierce enough to light futures. Phone buzzes, quietly message from Carmen City Council just voted to name tomorrow Heritage Resilience Day. They want you to speak, but only if you're not busy being supermom. I smile, text back one-handed. We'll trade speech for takeout containers. Nap time, negotiable. I silence phone watch pendant swing, gently casting miniature rainbows across sterile wall. Each band quivers, meets another, forms new shades, the physics of coexistence. Outside, dawn edge tints clouds jade to violet. I realize life will keep throwing arson and auctions, lawsuits, and labors, but the recipe never changes: broth, backbone, a heat that cauterizes wounds into wisdom. I breathe that thought, taste star anise on hospital air, and drift into the first real sleep since the neon died. Somewhere between heartbeats, Phoenix squeaks, fist-punching air. I open one eye, laugh. What is it, little bean? Ready for segment 2 of your story already? He coos. The monitor blinks, tiny green peaks. The pendant settles against my sternum. Cool, steady, looped, endless. And though narrative threads dangle court dates, zoning, ordinances, sisters, second act. The final scene writes itself on the window in reflected neon, a circle of colors impossible to extinguish, expanding at the speed of forgiveness. I close my eyes again, confident the next chapter can wait until morning service when Austin wakes hungry and our bowls overflow with second chances.